say this. There are all the show hosts and contributors are going to be adding a bet into the website for Monday morning for the national championship game. So you can get in over there if you have not been following college football as closely as maybe you have the NFL, or if you're an NBA fan, whatever it might be. There will be a lot of different ways that maybe you could tackle it, because there are going to be a lot of different angles going into that game on Monday night.
There will. I already have 2 bets in. Have you put your bet in yet?
I did. I'll spoiler alert, but this isn't the one that's going to be on the website, so whatever. This one's a freebie.
Look at you.
Look, I know it's square as hell. I took the 4.5 with Washington. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I look in that offensive line is just so ridiculously good. And if Penix has time, in which, they got voted the best offensive line in the country, you saw it hold up very, very well in the semis, and if he has time, he just is able to do what he was able to do against Texas. Like, that's the thing, right? The guy is deadly accurate so long as he can just sit in the pocket and throw to 3 future NFL receivers that he has on that team, right? One of which is going to be a first rounder this coming year. So that's the handicap in a nutshell right there.
I'll take your square bet and I'll raise it with one of mine. Right. I'll take Penix over 290 passing yards and over 1.5 touchdowns. Same game parlay pays plus 135 right now.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things. Like, I changed my opinion after watching the game against Texas. Like, I thought going up in competition, yes, this offensive line was great all season long, playing inferior opponents. So I thought, okay, here's where they get exposed. Here's where we go. See, when you have time, you can do all that, and it didn't play out. They held up. They held up super, super strong. And I understand that Michigan was living in the backfield against Alabama, but if you look, Alabama's offensive line over the course of the season was the one weak spot for that team all year long. So, I mean, it wasn't like it's the craziest thing in the world to see Michigan getting pressure against Alabama, because there were a lot of teams that got a lot of pressure against Alabama all year. They had an awesome defensive line. They had awesome every skill position player, all the stuff. They did not have a good offensive line, and that really proved to be a big-time bugaboo for them against Michigan. Yeah,
true freshman at guard, replacement center. Those 2 spots, specifically the center, were big-time issues for them in that semifinal game. I do think Michigan has success on the ground, though. And I think that's what makes this game so interesting, is that I think Michigan's going to be able to run the ball at will, and Washington's going to be able to throw it at will. And it's really who makes a mistake, who's not able to capitalize, not able to put it in the end zone versus kicking a field goal. I think it's going to be a lot of fun on Monday night.
So, guys, if you have not gotten in on that game yet over at DraftKings, I'm going to click the little college football button here. It is still 4.5 in favor of Michigan. 56.5 is the total. As far as the total goes, Mike, I think if you look at it, it's who do you think wins? And that's where you want to go with this total, because if you think Washington is going to win the game, you probably think it's higher scoring. If you think Michigan is going to win the game, you probably think it's lower scoring, because we know for sure whether it works or not, we don't know. But Michigan's going to try to run the ball. They're going to try to run the ball a lot, because that's what they've done all season long.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen games where McCarthy's had 9 passes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if we see another game like that. I mean, Texas was blowing Washington off the defensive line. Michigan's run game, I think, is better than Texas's. So I would expect Michigan to have a lot of success on the ground and be able to push this Washington defensive line around. But that doesn't mean that Washington doesn't come down and score quickly. Mm-hmm. And that, to me, is the big difference here. Because if Washington consistently puts points on the board, I don't think Michigan struggles either. And all of a sudden, we're seeing Washington plus 4.5 in the over as a ticket. But you're right. If there is some struggle here, and if Michigan's able to run the ball and Washington cannot throw it down the field, Michigan in the under seems like the right side.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.